All right, we are live. What's up? This is Tyler Basu. I'm here with my friend Aleric, the founder of Ad Outreach, and we are jumping into a pretty popular topic today of how to use YouTube, how to advertise on YouTube to help grow your business. Now, Aleric, we met. I think it was beginning of 2019 at a mastermind in Nashville, and you were getting some good traction then. Like you were growing your team. You had helped, I think, somewhere around 100 clients at that time.
Yeah.
And now, like fast forward almost 2 years later, your team has exploded. You're doing well, like growth wise, revenue wise. You've cranking out case study after case study of companies that you've helped in this industry. So congrats on the growth, first and foremost. I'm excited to dig into this with you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me on, Tyler. I'm excited to dive into it.
Now, just to give people a little bit of backstory on you, because you've been on YouTube as a marketer almost as long as YouTube has been around. Like, so I consider you one of like the OGs of YouTube marketing. You know, almost 10 years you've been on this platform, but you didn't start on the platform with paid ads. You actually grew a YouTube channel where you were like reviewing apps or something, and you grew this channel to several 100,000 subscribers, and you're able to monetize the channel. So I'm curious, from somebody that had organic growth down, like, you know, you knew how to build an audience and get views on videos and monetize a channel. What drew you into advertising? What got you excited about paid ads on YouTube?
That's a really, really good question, because it was really, you know, I've been on YouTube now for over 11 years. It's kind of crazy to think about. Like you said, you know, it's totally different platform back then. Everything was standard definition videos. They actually had a star rating system, you know, video responses, a totally different platform. I mean, those of you that were on there, you know, back then know exactly what I'm talking about. And, you know, what I did is I created, you know, originally this YouTube channel, App Find, reviewing apps, technology, tutorials, different products, things like that, basically tech and applications. And it started to really, really take off. So, you know, all of a sudden we had hundreds of thousands of subscribers. We became the largest app review channel. People were sponsoring us just to have us talk about the applications that they had. And I remember about 6 years ago now, there was one particular app that had sponsored us. And that means that they basically paid us to produce a sponsored video. We had uploaded the video. They got thousands of users. They're like, this is great. You know, can you re-upload the video again and we'll get a few more thousand users? And that's when I really had to explain, like, hey, you know, you could pay us for another video, but I don't want you to, you know, pay us just to post it again, because you're not going to get the same level of results. If it's organic, right, you post it once, your subscribers watch it, they download if they want, if they're interested. You'll get some residual. You know, it's kind of like sending an email twice. You get some people that didn't see it the first time, but it's not really going to have as big of an impact as you want. And so I said, what I've been looking into, and this was 6 years ago now, is looking into YouTube ads and using a little bit at the time to grow my channel and different things, but not actually for, you know, to promote any app or any, you know, business or get leads or anything like that. And so they were a little skeptical at first. It was actually a performance marketing company that hired me. So they obviously, the developers of the app hired them. They, you know, were sponsoring me, and I convinced them to do a $500 budget. And in just 1 week, and this was 6 years ago, with 1 week, we got over 11,000 users for that app.
Wow, that's awesome. So that was enough to get them pretty excited about
exactly. And they were getting paid $1 per user. So the performance marketing company had put up their own $500. That's why it took a little bit of back and forth, you know, because people weren't really running YouTube ads back, you know, like let alone YouTube ads for like apps or leads. Like the only people really doing it were like the big, you know, Geico, Ford, you know, big TV people that just kind of put extra budget over on YouTube. And so, you know, that was when I was hooked, right? Because I was taking this video that feels organic and natural, and then just reaching more people, right? More people who are similar to that. And so at that point, and this is about 6 years ago, you know, 5-6 years ago, I basically was doing YouTube ads for mobile apps, drove millions and millions of downloads, you know, really just kind of built that up. And, but then, you know, I was looking for something more. That was also kind of like right after kind of the peak heyday of when everybody was making an app. I'm sure you remember, everybody was like the Uber for this, you know, the social media
Yeah.
networking app for that. And obviously I love applications. I still do, but I was looking for something more. And that's when I remember I went to, HubSpot Inbound conference. I found ClickFunnels. Then I found, a mastermind that I joined where we met. And I really, started to see how there's this huge world of, coaches, consultants, course creators, online business owners, ClickFunnels, the whole, kind of online entrepreneur community. And I absolutely loved it. And I was in this other bubble, which was mobile apps. And all of a sudden I saw this whole nother area of people who are building these businesses. And so, instead of just running ads for a $1 app, what if you could run YouTube ads to get, leads that are going to turn into multi-$1,000, deals, right? And that's when I was really hooked. I said, wait a second, you can use YouTube ads to get these, these higher ticket clients, sell courses, get people into a funnel. And that's what I was really getting excited about. And so I did that. I switched over. It was originally App Outreach, and I moved to Ad Outreach, changed the name, and it was Ad Outreach. And we work with a lot of big names, a lot of different people, in the space. And then over the last 3 years, I basically come to where I am today, which is, a done with you YouTube ads program, right? So as a combination, the perfect combination of training, but also hands-on help, because I saw out there in the marketplace, like everybody's just one of two things. They're either an agency and, they basically, you're kind of beholden to them. It's like a black box. There's nobody actually helping you set it up. They're not actually going to eat, sleep, breathe, your business, your marketing like you would, or somebody on your team or marketing director, whoever on your team would. And on the other side, there's courses and you can learn from them, but there's no hands-on help. And so we put together really is a done with you process to help our clients hands-on learn exactly how to set everything up, and then have us go in and craft out the winning script. We've got copywriters on our team to build it out, work with them to target the right people at the right time. I'm sure we'll talk about some of that as well. And, just scale up the business from there. I've been scaling up, and we really have gotten to a great point. We just did over $820,000 last month. And I really know that this is going to be our first $1 million month in October here. So we're all working collectively as a team to make that happen. But
that's exciting, really man. That's awesome. That's awesome growth. I'm happy for you. And what I love about the way that you've designed your offer and the way you help clients is you didn't go 100% service, you didn't go 100% training. You created the hybrid, because like you said, people at the end of the day, if somebody's paying to get help, they want a result of some kind. And I think probably the best way to help them get a result is you give them the education that they need, but also the support and the feedback and that they need as well to help get their, get the work actually done. Now I want to dig into your approach to YouTube advertising. And I know you work mostly with course creators, coaches, consultants. So we're not talking about YouTube ads through the lens of like big global brands just trying to build more brand awareness on YouTube. I think we're coming at it from more of like a direct response marketer's approach. Like we're getting in front of a potential client, we're using an ad to bring them into a funnel of some kind, and where we've got a lead or like a call in our calendar. I think is the ultimate goal if we're selling high ticket stuff like you mentioned. So why don't you start with just a really quick, like high level overview of the opportunity that this market has with YouTube advertising? Like, why are you so excited about YouTube advertising right now? And what kind of results are you seeing for the coaches and the consultants and the course creators?
Absolutely. That's a great question. And what I'm seeing right now is, in the marketplace, unfortunately, like a lot of people, everybody's running on Facebook. It's the exact same Facebook ads in front of the same people with the same funnel, and they're expecting different results. They're expecting to stand out, but they're doing all of the exact same things. And so, what I've really seen is, if there's only so much you're going to be able to squeeze out of running to the same half a dozen audiences. We all know what they are. And obviously, you're also running lookalikes and all that as well, but it's all the same people. Think of how many, especially if you're in kind of the ClickFunnels or high ticket or course space, how many other, people you see in the feed, and you probably don't remember that many of them. Versus on YouTube, you have the opportunity to actually get in front of people with a video where audio is on from the beginning. Unlike Facebook, you have to, kind of click it, turn on the audio. Audio is on from the beginning. You only pay if somebody watches more than 30 seconds of your ad. So if somebody skips between 5 and 29 seconds, the countdown timer goes down, counts down from 5, between 5 and 29 seconds, then you don't pay for it. So you're only paying for people that are genuinely interested. They're actually excited to hear what you have to say. And you basically, the way that I've described it to some people is, what if you had the opportunity to give a 30-second elevator pitch to anybody that you could target? You could pinpoint the exact person. You can even use household income targeting, at least in the United States, on YouTube. Facebook got rid of that a couple of years ago, right? You can do real household income targeting on YouTube. So if you're selling high ticket, you could target only top 20% or even 10% of income earners. Layer that with what they're watching, who they are. And the big thing is intent, right? Too, Facebook versus YouTube. When you talk about why YouTube converts more, why we're seeing what we're seeing. And we're constantly seeing, depending on obviously the size of scale, but we're constantly seeing anywhere from, 4, 5 to 10x ROAS on high ticket, programs, high ticket services, people going through and selling high ticket offers. And then, constantly, obviously on like every webinar to like a course, like evergreen course, that is to say, where there's not, a phone call involved, we're constantly seeing scalable, 2.5, 3, 4, even 5x ROAS on courses that you can then scale. And so obviously, you got to weigh the pros and cons, whether you have a course or you have, high ticket, but that's what we're seeing. And the reason we're seeing it is because people on YouTube are in what I call the learner's mindset. They're going on YouTube to learn. Think about Facebook. Basically Facebook, you can target only in 2 dimensions: demographics, where somebody is, kind of roughly like, what they fit into, their age, things like that. And then also target based on their interest, who they are. Now that can be valuable, but the problem is there's no third dimension. What are they doing right now? When are you reaching them? Because we all know to actually get ads to convert, especially direct response, you have to reach the right person, the right time with the right message, right? The right time is the problem with Facebook, because people are just scrolling through. We all do it. We're kind of looking, we're just looking at different photos
it's
or
more
whatever.
of an interruption based kind of platform, right?
Exactly. And you're paying for every impression, right? And so not only is it interruption based, you're not paying when somebody watches 30 seconds of a video or, completes a conversion. You're actually paying for every time somebody scrolls through. Versus on YouTube, you actually can target people in 3 dimensions. You could take the demographics, and it's even more powerful because you can target people based on household income. Then you're layering on, this, by the way, this is a 3D YouTube ads concept I have kind of back there, right? You have the demographics. So, you can have that household income. Then you're layering it, with what video they're watching right now. So that's intent. So are they watching a video on, how to grow my business, how to get more leads, how to get sales? Are they watching a video on how to lose weight? How to gain muscle, like whatever happens to be. Obviously, I just try to give a few examples like B2B and then B2C,
Sure.
different spaces, right? But if whatever video they're watching right now, if you run your ad in front of that video, that's how you're going to be able to reach the right person at the right time with the right message. And then the third component, and this is actually what people get wrong when they start to do YouTube right off the bat, is they just do those 2 layers, right? You also need to target who that person is. And on YouTube, one of the biggest things we teach our clients is you can create custom affinities where you can actually target exactly who that person is. What websites have they been on before? What describes that person? Google searches they've made in the past. So you can build a profile of the person. You know exactly what they're doing right now because you know the videos they're watching, the keywords that that they're watching on YouTube. And then you layer that with the fact that they can afford high ticket, like let's say they're in the top, 20, 30% of household income earners. You create the perfect triangle. I don't know if you can see the board, but just like that. And then right in the center are those high ticket buyers that you're looking for.
That's awesome, man. No, that's really good advice. And I want to dig into how you structure campaigns for YouTube, and also how you structure like a video ad, like what makes a good ad. Because you mentioned the first 30 seconds of an ad, we don't actually pay for somebody to see that. And so I imagine there's an importance there of having like a good hook that would get the right person to watch past 30 seconds so that the ones that you do pay for are the right people. But anyway, before we get into some of the tactical stuff there, what would you say makes somebody ready for YouTube ads? Is there some stuff you want to see them have in place before they go down this path of advertising on YouTube?
That's a great question. So what I recommend is that people have some idea at least of what, the offer is that that they have, somewhat of a funnel built out. Now we have started helping more and more people who, know that they're an expert, they know that they have something, like help them build their offer more and more. But that's not our main thing. That's something that we
Sure.
really help people refine, what they're doing. But at least having some sense of what you're looking to advertise, right? Because we're not like helping people from complete scratch. Although we are more and more helping people who might be a little bit more beginners. So in the past, we mostly worked with people that were already running ads, already had funnels built out. But we've actually added onto our team, and we've grown to just about 30 people. We actually just had literally today our Q4 all hands meeting, which was incredible. I love the energy, seeing everybody. I call them my ad outreach dream team. We have almost 30 people now, and we've added so many new people in our client success team, not just YouTube ads coaches and copywriters to help them write their scripts, but we also have business and funnel coaches as well to help them refine their offer, help them refine their funnel, to make sure that all the pieces, more and more you just see these days, everything is a holistic.
It's hard to only touch one piece. It's kind of like renovating a house. I don't know if you ever like opened up a wall and thought you were going to just touch one thing, and you end up having to touch several things to make it all come together. It's the same with the online marketing stuff. So, kudos to you for adding that level of support to your clients. Okay. So you want them to have a proven offer, or at the very least be willing to work with you guys to help refine that offer if there's some room for improvement there.
Exactly.
A funnel of some kind. Do you care what type of a funnel, or are there different funnels based on what they're selling? Or
so there's all kinds of different funnels. I found that a video-based funnel works best, because think about YouTube. What's a webinar or a VSL other than it's a longer form video, right? Yeah. And so people watching YouTube, it's crazy. Now, this is one thing that we get into. I've had people tell me in the past, they're like, webinars are dead. And I'm like, I wouldn't say that.
Yeah, maybe yours just didn't work.
Yeah, maybe yours just isn't working as well. Or maybe it's just the platform, right? Because a lot of people on Facebook these days, they're saying, everybody, webinars don't work, run to VSLs, but if you ask yourself really, like, what's better? Does a VSL actually inherently work better, or is it the platform? Because, if you could get people to watch an hour-long webinar or a 15-minute VSL, what would you rather have? Obviously, it's the hour-long webinar. The more attention that they pay, the more that they're able to watch, get indoctrinated,
more qualified,
listen, exactly, the more qualified they are. And so that's the thing. People are shifting and shifting and shifting. They're saying everybody has shorter attention spans. I really think it's just people have shorter attention spans on Facebook, because on YouTube, what we are seeing across ours and our clients, we actually did, ran the numbers on this. Our average show up rate on an every hour on the hour webinar, where it counts down to the top of the hour, is between 50 and 60% on a webinar. I've heard from people who are running on Facebook, and they're getting down like 20, 25%, 30%, right? They're bragging about 40%. We're seeing consistently, us and our clients, 50 to 60% show up rates on a webinar. And on my original webinar, I actually have two now, so I want to distinguish. On my original webinar, YouTube ads for leads and sales webinar that we have, that I've been running for a long time, has an average 53-minute watch time on an hour and 8-minute long webinar, where we come in with the offer to book a call with our team at 45 minutes.
Wow, that's awesome. No, that's really impressive. And I'm not surprised, because, people spend a lot of time on YouTube. There are long videos on YouTube. And so YouTube has almost done the heavy lifting of building this audience that likes to watch lots of video content. And so to bring them into a marketing funnel that gives them more videos, it's congruent. It's congruent with the platform and with the intent of the users on that platform. Okay, so talk us through how to script a good ad. Like, what's the secret sauce for a good video ad that gets the attention of the right person and gets them to take that next step, whatever that next step may be.
Absolutely. So we have distilled this down into the three biggest components of a winning YouTube ad that gets them to convert every time. And this is really like, what I've refined, and I've taken all of my experience on YouTube and YouTube ads running. That literally, we've helped people create, well over, actually thousands of different ads. We've helped over 1,000 different people in different capacities, different clients throughout the time, now, so in kind of the way that we have it structured now, closer to 600, 700, but quickly growing, we're we're enrolling, now almost like over 100 clients, or almost 100 clients a month, and we project to do more than that this month. So we're helping out after working with all of these different people. We really refined exactly what that winning formula is. And it has three components. It has a hook, right? So you actually capture people's attention. We're going to dive into that though, because there's another key component we want to talk about. Hook, educate, and call to action. Now, the educate's also really important too, because that's the biggest thing people leave out. I'm going to talk about each of these individually. So first is the hook. You really want to pull the right people in, but you also, equally important, is push the wrong people away. Remember, we talked about you only pay if somebody watches 30 seconds of your ad. You don't want to pay for people that aren't interested. So you want to pull the right people in, push the wrong people away. Now, I find it a little corny to say, if this isn't you, skip this ad. I don't really like to do, I know some people do that. It's a little more meta, but like, I don't like to do that as much. And we have some clients that do apply that. But what I like to do is have it be a little more subtle. So for instance, some of the hooks that I've had in the past, they either rely on jargon or us versus them mentality to really, push away the wrong people. So for instance, one of the hooks we had in the past was, what if you could ethically hijack your competitor's traffic and send it directly into your own funnel? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how you can do that using YouTube video ads, just like the one you're watching right now. So you notice here, I say, ethically hijack competitors' traffic, send it into your own funnel. I'm using terms like traffic.
This is all marketing speak.
Funnel. Exactly. Like if people think that like, traffic's just like on the interstate, then they're going to be like, what is this guy's crazy? They're going to skip the ad. But the people that are in our space, not only is it going to draw them in more, but it's going to get the people that aren't and don't understand to skip it. And I think it's a more of an authentic way than kind of saying that if this isn't you, skip this ad, but again, there's different ways obviously to do it. But at the same time, having those subtle, like pushing the wrong people away. And then you could also have these really kind of us versus them things. Like one other hook that works really well for us right now is, I just come out and I say, YouTube ads beat Facebook ads every time. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly why, and then I get into it. And it just creates this really, kind of juicy hook that people, whether you agree with it or you're like, you disagree, you're like, what is this guy about? What is he going to say? That's when you start watching, and then, and then you go from there.
You remember the Mac versus PC ads?
Yeah,
that was like a great example of calling out who you're against. Hey, we're not that. We're this, and you build a kind of a stronger community around your way of doing things.
Exactly. And people are seeing more and more now that the costs are rising and they're going up and up on Facebook. And that's the thing with YouTube. One thing that I'll say before we get it, because then we got to talk about educate, call to actions. With YouTube, though, not only do I know if all the competition was equal on YouTube and Facebook at the same number of advertisers, same competition, YouTube would still beat Facebook because of all the reasons we talked about, right? It being an intent-based platform, you being able to target people based on, not only who they are, but also what they're watching right now, their demographics, so the household income elements. You only pay if somebody watches 30 seconds. The fact that it's audio or video and audio, all of these make YouTube better. And even if all the competition was equal on Facebook and YouTube, YouTube would still win out. That's why, I'm bullish YouTube long-term, even as, competition increases. But here's the thing, right? It's not the same level of competition where YouTube's over here, Facebook's over here. It's really like this because there's so many people competing on Facebook. Everybody's competing with each other. YouTube is a huge blue ocean, and inherently it's a better platform. So even if the competition was the same, YouTube would still win. But right now it's not the same competition. Less people are advertising. So that's why, YouTube really just keeps consistently beating out Facebook. We have clients, right? They cut their acquisition costs completely in half just from, going from Facebook ads to YouTube ads. We have a whole page of at least half a dozen people who have had that, who just even do a video about that. Obviously, we have a lot more than just half a dozen, but we of testimonials where that's literally all they're talking about is, Facebook wasn't that great. They go over to YouTube and it's cut in half. And I just hear that consistently time and time again. So anyways, looping back though, that was a little bit of a tangent, but looping back, so we talked about the hook, right? Pulling the right people in, pushing the wrong people away. Then you want to educate. This is where you're providing value, right? So you actually want to make sure you give what I call golden nuggets. You're giving golden nuggets to the people that are watching the ad. So you pulled people in, you got them interested, you got them to pay attention. Now you want to give them value, because here's one of the biggest things people leave out. Like how annoying is this? Actually, Tyler, I want your opinion on this. When the last time you saw an ad where somebody was like, hey, do you have this problem? Okay, go sign up for my webinar, right? I
Mhm.
mean, have you seen something like that? I'm sure you've seen that.
Yeah,
Funny
yeah.
ads.
I see, and I see. I'm probably one of Facebook's favorite users because I click on ads like every day. You know,
Yeah,
because I just like to keep my finger on the pulse of what
yeah.
people in online marketers are doing, and they're notorious for those style of ads.
Exactly. And there's also even other people in the YouTube ad space that, and they haven't been around as long as we have, but they're talking about doing these like 60-second, like short, punchy ads. You even see the ones they do them,
Mhm.
themselves. But the problem is, who is that actually attracting? Do you want this? Sign up over here. It's not actually providing any value, right? So you have to meet, and this is where I'm bringing all of my expertise that I've had being on YouTube for over a decade, which is crazy, and applying it to the ads. Is you need to provide value. People go on
Okay.
YouTube not just for the flashy headline or hook, but and not just for whatever the call to action is. And they will take action if they receive value. Sure,
Okay.
some people will take action like, without the value, but you're not going to get as high quality people if you don't have as high quality of an ad. So that's why a big part of what we talk about is provide value. Talk about your three, your three big tips or secrets, right? And if you
Sure.
can reveal all of your stuff in just 3 minutes, like then you don't have, like that's the thing. Like I talk a lot about a bunch of the big advantages that YouTube has, but it only scratches the surface of what I can really teach people and help
Yeah,
people with.
yeah, yeah. I
And
was going to ask about time frame, but you
Mhm.
mentioned about 3 minutes of educational content. Is that the sweet spot or?
Exactly. So 30-second
Okay.
hook, 2 to 4 minutes long of educational content, and then I would do a 30-second call to action. So typically what that means is your ad is going to be anywhere from minimum 3 minutes to, I would say, maximum 6 minutes long, 3 to 6 minutes. The average kind of is probably at 3, 4, 5 minutes.
Okay.
And we found that's the sweet spot because now you're providing value. You don't want to go on and on and on, though. You want to make sure that it's very punchy. It's like, here's all the individual value that we have. Here's some of the
Hmm.
big tips. I remember we were working with, one of the clients that we had, and you may actually know him, Belden. This was a while ago, but he's absolutely, a great guy. And I just use him as an example for an educational
Sure.
components. Like one of the punchy things is like not all calories are equal, right? Everybody kind of thinks like a calorie is a calorie. And what we helped them script out when we go into the copywriting, is this right here, is 2,000 calories worth of oil, like olive oil. Like,
Sure.
does this have the same nutritional value as 2,000 calories of, insert this meal,
Yeah.
all right, we've established that. So why do you think that this 2,000 calorie pizza has the same nutritional value as this meal as well? Because obviously there's people that think that the pizza, and
So
then
so
it
he's
gives that.
tackling a misconception that's in
Mhm.
his industry, and then teaching through that misconception.
And it gives a major aha moment because I even know because I actually went through his program and I lost like a lot of weight going through his program, and he obviously has a lot of different things about food and looking at a different way. And you know that was an aha moment for me, right? Because I did think that a calorie was a calorie with pizza to that, but then if you have that other element where it's like, wait a second, you have this huge thing of oil,
Hmm.
obviously that's not the same nutritional value. So then why do you believe that pizza is the same nutritional value? And so, but giving that aha moment to people on a video, I mean, it's insane. I remember, when those ads, launched, and I know he's building apps, he's doing all kinds of things now, which is incredible. But when that ad launched, last summer, I remember. I don't remember exactly. It was somewhere between $100 and $200 a day, but he had his first $50,000 month because when you have
Hmm.
that perfect, not only hook but education that actually gets people to see it and they're like, oh wow, I never thought about it that way. That's when you can really, really hook people, not just with the
Okay.
hook, but then, of course they're going to want to watch the webinar, right? And he's also got a book. They're going to want to read the book. Same thing
Yeah.
with us with YouTube ads, right? If we tell people you only pay if somebody watches 30 seconds or more of the ad, you can use 3D YouTube ads targeting to pinpoint the perfect buyer, not just, who they are, but also what they're watching right now, and build that out. Then of
Hmm.
course people are going to want to stick around and hear what else I have to say. Versus if I just say, hey, you want to learn YouTube ads? Sign up for my webinar. Some people will do it, but a lot of people will just be like,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay. But if you actually provide value or you give an aha moment, that's when they're like, all right, I need to hear exactly what this person has to say. And that's also when you see 50, 60, +% show up rates as well.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. And then for the call to action, and I'm sure you've done split tests of like what to send people to,
Yep.
but is your preference that you promote a video training, and then have them like send them to a landing page for the video training? Is that your preferred?
Exactly. Or a web, some type of video. So either a VSL or a webinar. Some people do a free training series as well. You have some clients that will do like a drip series. But those are the ones that I recommend the most, just because it's congruent. People are on YouTube, they're watching a video, they're getting value, and then you tell them that you have, okay, this training, you have this webinar that you're going to provide even more value on, and that just works. It just works so well because they're on YouTube to consume and watch videos.
The intent is congruent the whole way through. That's awesome.
Exactly.
So I want to dig into the way you structure campaigns, and I want to respect your time. So let's try to tackle where you're spending the majority of the budget, like top of funnel lead gen. Walk us through how you're targeting, some targeting tips there. And then I know that you're doing this because I see it. I see you doing a really good job with the retargeting. And in fact, not just retargeting on YouTube, but I now see you retargeting across several platforms. I've seen you on LinkedIn. I've seen you, I think I've seen you on Facebook, but it was a retargeting campaign for sure. But anyway, let's dig into
retargeting on the enemy. No, I'm kidding. I'm joking.
Well, literally your ad on LinkedIn said, "Hey, bet you didn't expect to see me here."
Exactly.
That was brilliant. But yeah, walk us through how you say whatever client you work with. Let's say they've got a certain budget for their paid ads, and then how much of that is allocated to the top of the funnel lead generation and targeting on YouTube, and then what are you doing with the rest of it to help them with retargeting?
Yeah, absolutely. So I really focus. I absolutely love retargeting, omnipresent retargeting. When it comes to top of funnel, that's where YouTube really shines, because you get the people that have intent. So that's why I've been preaching nowadays, YouTube ads, top of funnel, that's what you need. And then with your retargeting, obviously you're retargeting on YouTube, but you're also retargeting on Facebook, LinkedIn, Google Display, ad roll, exact match search, right? For people who are searching, basically branded search, that is to say, right? You basically have all of these different retargeting tools. You bring people in with YouTube and then you retarget them. With YouTube ads themselves, 3D, three-dimensional YouTube ads targeting. That is the secret, 100%. That's a funny thing is, like, I'm literally like revealing, like, this is the secret. And obviously what we do is we help people implement it, figure out exactly what that targeting is. The copywriters will help script it out. But this really is the secret to not only like our success, but also the success of all of our clients. Like, if you've just seen, like, take a look at our testimonial page, you gotta scroll through and it's so long. And the reason for that is we've got it down to science. You target people. Now, this is for high ticket and courses, high ticket and courses specifically, but also we do have a lot of clients that are e-com, that are apps, local businesses, different types of businesses as well. But I know that a lot of people that are watching here, and also a lot of the clients we have are, high ticket online businesses, or their courses, or their coaches or consultants, or whatever it happens to be. So, I'll talk to that specifically for the 3D targeting, but you can apply it to other areas. So you take the demographics. So you're going to have household income, top 30% or top 20%. Then you layer that with what they're watching right now. So you take keywords or topics. Placements, I don't really like as much. And a lot of people, they go onto YouTube, they start with placements, but the problem is they're really hard to scale. So I recommend,
Can you clarify what do you mean by placement?
Yeah, so placements is when you select specific videos. So you say, I want to target this particular channel, or this particular video on your channel. So they might even choose, like, let's say you upload this to YouTube, this video that they want to run an ad in front of, but then they have to select hundreds and hundreds of them. And even if they select hundreds of thousands of videos, there's some tools that do help with that. But even if they select all of those, it's still not going to get the same number of scale, because you have to constantly refresh and add more and more, versus if you're targeting a topic, like you're targeting advertising and marketing, or small business, or business opportunity. Or you could even be targeting keywords like, how to get more leads, how to get sales, how to grow my business. I love targeting people looking up Facebook ads. Obviously, I'll also do YouTube ads, of course, too. My favorite is people looking up like Facebook ads help Facebook ad account shut down. and I just run ads in front of those videos. It's just kind of funny. And then you layer that. So you have the demographics, top 30%, layered with, the keywords, topics, collections of videos of what people are watching, and you layer that with who that person is. And you can even target people based on websites they've been on before, like people who have been on ClickFunnels.com. It's one of my favorite things to do too. I love it. You can target people who've been on ClickFunnels, people who Google searched before, so they might have Google searched like Facebook account shut down, Facebook ads not working, troubleshooting, etc. And then you layer it. You're basically building out. It's like a triangle. You're building out this perfect Venn diagram of who that ideal client is right in the center. That's the sweet spot. That's the money spot right there. And that's where you're going to get your ideal clients coming through consistently. And once you have this lined up, you can scale it a lot more consistently as well. Because unlike Facebook, where you increase a budget, you're praying that it's working, because really Facebook has to figure things out with the algorithm. It's really all just going into the algorithm. Versus on YouTube, if you know that you're reaching somebody in this income bracket who are watching these particular videos, these particular type of videos, and they've been on ClickFunnels, or they've Google searched for this, or Google knows that this is the type of person they are, if you're layering all of those things, because you have all three components covered, you can actually linearly scale up the results of your campaign by increasing your ads. And just look at our growth, look at the growth of our clients. It's that exact same thing.
Okay, cool. No, that makes sense. And just very quick for a minute or two on the topic of retargeting. So let's assume you've spent the majority of the budget at the top of the funnel driving leads from YouTube to a landing page. What is the role that retargeting is playing in that? Are you retargeting people that hit the landing page and didn't opt in? And if so, what are you getting them to do? Or are you only retargeting the leads that did opt in? And if so, what are you asking them to do next?
We're retargeting everybody. And I'm so excited that we get to talk about this, because this is the biggest thing that I've been focusing on, and I've been building out, is what I call our omnipresent retargeting machine. I've been using this all this year, right? I've been building and adding to it. We're adding even more too. It's kind of fun. We're starting to advertise on some even, other platforms that even I don't personally use, but we want to be everywhere. So, but there's, basically omnipresent retargeting is all about taking all those people that are already interested and showing up everywhere. So you're showing up on Facebook, you're showing up on LinkedIn, you're showing up, on you're even running on Twitter, Google Display, so you appear on all kinds of different websites, ad roll, so you appear on, even more websites that, have that installed. And we're also doing really Jedi things with each of these. I just love marketing. I like geek out about it. And obviously YouTube is what I know the best. Right. Yeah. But I just love and I know you do as well, Tyler. So like what I love to do is I love just going in and saying, okay, how can I master the retargeting tools for this platform? Because what I have learned is you can't go wrong retargeting, right? As long as you have the right people in your funnel, that's one key thing. And that's why, top of funnel, we're very particular. We target with a 3D YouTube ads targeting. If you protect the top of your funnel, what I like to do is I like to retarget people forever. Now, here's the thing. You asked when I retarget people. I retarget people that land on the page that haven't opted in. And I get them to opt in for the webinar. Or I also do some warm retargeting on Facebook too, to get them into my Facebook group, YouTube Ads for Entrepreneurs. So then I was sending them there. And so some people kind of get stuck in that. And by the way, that will keep running until they click the button on the page to join the group. So some people have told me they just keep getting that ad over and over again. Well, have you joined the group? No. Well, you should probably join the group. You're just going to keep getting that ad. It's the same thing on YouTube. We're running YouTube retargeting ads to get them back to the webinar registration page. And so that's the warm traffic. Then when we get to hot, that's where we're running retargeting ads everywhere to get people to book a call. So that's all leading back to our apply page, book a call. But then we also have, different ads on YouTube where we actually have value-based ads. So we have ads that basically provide just content and value. There's something called a YouTube discovery ad where people are on their home screen. They see literally a video as if it was just popping up naturally, but it's really a sponsored ad. They click on it and they might be watching an hour-long podcast. I'm running an ad for that too. And then I'm over on, Twitter, and I'm over on LinkedIn and on Facebook running, their standard retargeting ads. But then there's even other things like on LinkedIn, you can send a message as a sponsored ad. So we're sending people a message like, hey, did you book your call? We're running that as an ad as well. We're also obviously doing all the organic things like emailing our list, posting in our Facebook group. And so it's really all about, once you have people into your world, just being omnipresent, getting in front of them again and again and again. And that is what I've really, really loved. And it's actually kind of crazy. And you probably know him as well. You remember, Eli Grelecki, right?
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, incredible guy. Skyview trading. He basically helps people who trade options and everything for those watching. And he's been a friend of mine for a long time. He's been in the same mastermind that Tyler and I have been in. But he's actually been a client for over 2 years, almost 3 years now, of ours. And I remember the original quote that he had when we did a testimony like 2 years ago was YouTube ads cut his lead cost in half from Facebook. So from Facebook to YouTube, lead cost cut in half. And actually, this is his cost per membership because he sells basically it's like $150 to $250. Like I think it's around $150, monthly subscription. Then he also sells some people in the high ticket programs as well. He's got a high ticket back end and to help people trade options. And we cut his cost per membership in half from Facebook to YouTube. And just in the last 3 months, we've implemented OmniPresent Retargeting. This is something that we've been implementing with some of our top inner circle clients, and we cut his cost. We just did a testimonial, and I'm probably going to post this on my personal page like in a day or two. We cut his cost in half again, is what he said, from the YouTube cost with OmniPresent Retargeting. Now, obviously, the retargeting is not necessarily in half because you also you have to get them from somewhere. So of course you have the leads there. But if you look at that, it's like cutting in half twice from Facebook to YouTube, and then obviously YouTube to adding on OmniPresent Retargeting. All the OmniPresent Retargeting is at half the cost of the YouTube top of funnel.
No,
so,
this is why I love retargeting. I mean, it's one of my favorite topics to jump into because it helps to like dispel the myth that you need a huge audience. Because if you just are present and nurture a smaller audience really well, you can really move the needle on your business before you have to go out and get yourself like 10,000, 100,000, million, whatever followers, leads, traffic, whatever, all that top of funnel stuff. I've seen people with as little as like 500 people in a pool of a retargeting bucket that they're able to pull some clients out of that group, right? So anyway, I know we could geek out on that some more. And we're gonna have to get this transcribed because there's like so much tactical notes from this, and you've just been like ridiculously generous with your insights. So this has been great. I've got one last question for you on the topic of scaling your company, like from a behind the scenes perspective, because you're somebody that has taken what was your expertise, your knowledge of YouTube advertising, and you've been able to transfer that into a program that helps your clients, and you've built a growing team. So you're not just a marketer anymore. You're an entrepreneur at this point. You're doing well on the operation side of things. So what are some of the key lessons you've learned as you've made that shift from you, Aleric, being the expert that works with clients individually to now having a team and this whole engine that serves your clients? Whether you're right there in the trenches with them or not.
Absolutely. That's a really great question. And that's what I've found myself more and more filling that role of being, a CEO, right? And actually, running a business that now has like almost 30 people, and we're actively hiring like 4 more people right now. So we're going to blast past that. And it's just incredible to have so many different people on the team. And just to be able to, I literally just had our Q4, kind of planning meeting today. And, I was just telling them like, this is the dream team that we have right here. This is each and every one of you is so valuable and so integral to everything. And I think just leading with that, with having that strong leadership, I just recently read The Infinite Game, Simon Sinek, absolutely incredible book. Basically about looking at business as, basically infinite, right? Finite is all winners and losers, but then that's to admit that like there's either winning but there's also losing, versus building a business that can sustain and grow and continue to exist, for generations. And that's one thing that I've really been thinking about is how can I impart everything onto my team? So, first that was with, the sales team and building people up that can enroll people. And then it was, okay, client success. We really want to, build this out, build more people. And right now, one of the big emphases that I have is, building out our marketing team, right? And so it's actually kind of funny. And at one point I wore this as a badge of honor, but now I actually look back, I'm like, there's probably a little bit of like at one point ego there where I was running all the marketing for myself, even getting up to, like $700,000 a month in revenue. And I ran all of our ads. And, And while that is impressive, it also is not sustainable. And I probably should have hired a team, for the marketing side much sooner than I did.
Okay.
But now what I'm doing is now I'm like really excited because I have these incredible A+ players on my marketing team. And, it's kind of like the leverage, right? So I can still have ideas and talk with them. And I love like, the marketing side of it, but now I have this team that I can work with the same way I obviously help our clients as well. And our team helps our clients, and they're able to implement and eat, sleep, and breathe it. And then we can have those high level strategies.
No,
So
yeah,
it's
yeah,
just
really
incredible.
good on you for that transition, because one of the hardest things to let go of is the thing that you're good at,
Yeah.
right? And so I imagine that was quite a process for you to find and hire and train and support somebody that could do the ads almost as good as you, or even perhaps even better on these other platforms that you
Mhm.
haven't personally touched, and now you've got other people in place. So you really have evolved from primarily a marketer to now CEO. So that's awesome. Listen, we're coming up on the top of the hour, so I want to respect your time. So thank you so much for your insights today. I'm going to send people to adoutreach.com because you've got some free training there. You've got resources, you've got case studies of people you've helped. So if anyone is interested in learning more about what you do or working with you, just go straight to adoutreach.com and you'll figure out exactly what you need to do from there. Is there any last words of advice, final thought, anything that comes to mind that you want to touch on, and then we'll say goodbye?
Absolutely. So I think the big thing, and thank you again so much, Tyler, for having me on. This was so much fun. I love diving into this. I think the big thing here is just like looking at the opportunity that is YouTube ads. That's what I get excited about. I talked about, even if the, competition was the same, YouTube would still beat out Facebook. Right now, the competition isn't the same. It's a blue ocean. YouTube has so much potential right now, and people are tapping into it. That's what I love helping people with. And I'm just so excited to have people here. Like, I don't want people to have any like regrets, like, oh, I feel like they feel like they didn't learn about YouTube
Mhm.
soon enough. Because a lot of people say that about Google pay per click, like it was in its heyday 7, 8, 9 years ago, right? Clicks were incredibly cheap. People were able to get incredible returns. Same thing on Facebook. Think 3, 4, 5 years ago. Anybody was running a webinar on Facebook back then, it was just like you turn it on and you're basically printing money. But it's gotten a lot harder. YouTube, right? And again, I don't want to say it's like perfectly easy. Like, obviously, that's why we're in place to like get people like to actually learn how it works. But when you leverage it the right way, you have that ad, hook, educate, call to action, use 3D YouTube ads targeting, right? Demographics, videos, affinities, interests. You're layering all this together. You can reach the right people at the right time, the right message, and scale up your business. YouTube ads, we're in the golden era of YouTube ads right now, and that's why I'm just excited to talk about it.
That's awesome. Well, Alec, this has been a pleasure. And if anyone is watching this interview on Facebook, even after the fact, if you have questions for Aleric, just tag him in the comments. Reach out to him. I know he's very responsive on social. So if you have a question for him, just ping him, and he'd be happy to chat with you. So, Aleric, thanks again, man. This was a pleasure, and I wish you all the best.
Absolutely. Thanks so much.